expected of the actual, and therefore we trade respectively, and what will happen in the market will be the sharp movements that you've already seen on your charts and asked, what is the cause of this? Why is there a sharp sudden movement in the market? For your information, what causes this is what we refer to as news. So hello traders, I welcome you back to our YouTube channel. It's Isma as usual, back again from FXKampala. In our YouTube video today, we're going to be looking at a detailed strategy, specifically on how to trade news. So many of you have actually consulted me, sent me messages asking what is news. And surprisingly or fortunately, today I will basically share a strategy that you only require only this particular video and you'll be a professional in trading news. So I'm going to be very detailed, but again precise. So everything that I happen to do, you do it. Everything that I happen to do, you pause and do it. Trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to be a certified pro news trader if you probably do as per I say. So I request that you repetitively watch this video for perfection. That's what makes us different. That you do not need a couple of videos for you to be an expert, for you to practically do something, especially like for news trading. So if you haven't subscribed onto our YouTube channel, please do, such that you enjoy the content that we happen to release. You can also go onto other social media platforms of ours, that is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Telegram, provided you happen to realize that you're on the right platform or social platform of FXKampala. Associate, comment, like, share, contribute, and be part of whatever platform you happen to find us. I will not waste a lot of my time, but rather we'll go to news trading. Before we look at the strategy, I want to briefly tell you what news trading is all about or what it means. By analysis, we're generally finding out where market is going, and we're all in the markets to find out where market is expected to go next. Is it going up or is it going down? Therefore, we happen to have different approaches to the market. That's when you hear technical, fundamental, sentimental, mechanical. So here comes fundamental, which is part of the different approaches one can go through if they want to analyze the markets. We all know that for technical, you're analyzing data, information on the chart. This time round, you're going to analyze and you will know where market is going next without looking at any Forex trading chart. What only takes you there is for you to buy or for you to sell. But rather, you don't need anything technical to analyze the markets. All what takes you there is basically for you to enter your trades. You're just basically going to need a platform that where news is shared. And these are simply websites. An example is Forex Factory. I will happen to share a link below this particular video for you to access Forex Factory. So Forex Factory is what you see here. You just need to go to the browser, any browser, Google, Mozilla, any. You type in forexfactory.com and then choose the option for calendar. This is where different news is released. When we talk of news, I'm not meaning the news that you watch on your TV stations, the local news. We specifically focusing on news of these big economies. News from Australia, news from New Zealand, news from US, news from Canada, news from China, and so on and forth. However, we have specific economies that we always look up to or look for, especially when it comes to news. When I talk of news, I'm generally focusing or specifically defining the economic factors, because if an economy is stable, then the government has to always, if for any sovereign, it's mandatory that the government comes and of course addresses the public regarding the different indices, specific indices from different ministries or from different sectors, you know, of this particular country. So an example from the Ministry of Labor, the government or the ministry itself has to come and tell us, you know, in such a year, in last month, we had this number of people that were unemployed, and this time round, this is what we expect. And then they also release to us the actual information. So with that, that information is what is shared here. That's why you're going to find that you have news for US dollar, you have news for Australian dollar, you have news for New Zealand dollar, and so on and so forth. So for us, what we do, we look at that data and we analyze it. So if unemployment previously was 4, let's say an example, and then we expect it to be 10, it means that we expect an increased unemployment. Therefore, it means that this economy is technically not doing well at all, because it's the responsibility of the Ministry of the Economy to provide us with this information. So by the time the actual comes out, it means then we already know, we have a clear picture of what is expected of the actual, and therefore we trade respectively, and what will happen in the market will be the sharp movements that you've already seen on your charts and asked, what is the cause of this? Why is there a sharp sudden movement in the market? For your information, what causes this is what we refer to as news. So these factors, these news release or releases, I don't know if that's the adjective phase, the right phrase or verb or metaphor, whatever. I don't know if the right word to use, but once they release this, the market, of course, responds and automatically reacts with sharp movements in the market. So me and you were looking at generally profiting on those sharp movements. And our interest is now for us to know, where is the sharp movement direction going to be? Is it going to be upwards or is it going to be downwards? And therefore, we trade respectively. And for you to know whether the response or the news is going to be impactive or not impactive, because not all news is going to be impactive. That's why when you come to Forex Factory, the Forex Factory, because now it's the platform that we shall use for us to analyze and therefore go to our chart and execute our trades. Then it means that it's mandatory that you know how to interpret and of course make sense of the information that is on Forex Factory. So Forex Factory, in simpler term or in simple term, it has different attributes. It has this, where we call it the color-coded flags, where we have yellow, orange, and red. So it means that the news that will impact the market should be red. That's why I will always have to come up here after creating an account with Forex Factory and filter, then focus on only the news that is with high impact. Okay, that is me. 2, we have the currency, this one, you know. Then the time and date, the news is going to be released. Then the news itself is here. Like for instance, we have cash rate for Australian dollar. It was on Tuesday. Cash rate is the same as interest rate. If you don't know any details about the news, you can always come here. Then it's interest rate charged on an overnight loan between the financial intermediaries. You get it? So it's basically interest rate. Then they give you, this line is for previous, forecast, and the actual. You get it? So the interest rate for Australian dollar remained the same, which is something good, and therefore the impact was expected that Australian dollar was to gain value. 4.3 is okay. So we expect that this is good news, and therefore on this date at this time, then it means that the impact was expected to be positive. Therefore, you need to choose a currency pair that at least has an Australian dollar in it, and you have to come 15 minutes before this time comes. The things that we shall give, the factors, the things that will give us an assurance that the news has to be impactive. 1, if news is color red, that is 1. 2, if news is a major fundamental. Not every red news is a major fundamental. We have those specific ones. That is the interest rate, number 1. We have the CPI. You have to note this down. We have the CPI, we have the PMI, we have the GDP, we have unemployment, employment. So basically, the 6 news are the major fundamentals. So wherever you find any of the news that I've just mentioned, or any of the major fundamentals I've just mentioned, please don't hesitate. It will automatically be a red, and then just go analyze this information. Just go to the market and start trading. It will be impactful. And this time round, I will encourage you to put more emphasis on Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, and US dollar. Any news that comes from there, provided it's a major fundamental, please don't miss it. There is money there. 2, you have to learn how to interpret this information, because now this is the data that you need to analyze. This time round, you don't need to analyze the charts. This is the information you have to interpret. You ask yourself, is it good when the figures rise, or is it bad when the figures rise? Is it good when the figures come down, or is it bad when the figures come down? Then that's upon you, because then it will enable you know what to do once you go to the chart to analyze the markets. 2 or 3, the deviation between here. Most of the news, like for interest rate, for it to remain the same, it is okay. It means that that economy is okay. What is expected of the government to do, okay, it has done it, and therefore it has maintained that, which is of course good. Now, for instances where it is unemployment and unemployment is increasing, then that is bad. If it is employment and employment is increasing, then that is good. Always come here and get to know what that specific news means, and they will always tell you actual greater than the forecast is good for the currency. So they will always tell you in summary, depending on the news. So the deviation is the difference between this and this, or between this and this. The difference. So the bigger the difference, the more impactful the news is going to be. So if the impact is when the deviation rather is bigger as compared to normal, then expect the market to move up to around 100, 200, 300 pips, meaning that that is money. The bigger the displacement in the market, the more money someone is making if the market catches them in, okay, when they are trading. So all you have to do is analyze the information here, okay, depending on the news. Like for instance, I'll give an example for the CPI of the US dollar. We normally consider the CPI MM. Initially, it was negative 0.4%, and now it increased. So once it increases, it means it's good news for the dollar, and that hence why you found the dollar increasing in value as per the CPI. However, the CPI this time did not move as per expected, because you see the deviation was quite low, okay? Was quite low, especially between the forecast and the actual, 0.1. So the impact was there because this was a major fundamental, because it was a major fundamental, not generally because of the difference here. So once you know where market is going to be, you may not certainly know whether the market is going to go up or down. Your job is for you to know if the market is going to be impactful. That is by checking on the deviation. 2, by also checking on if the news is a major fundamental, and it has to specifically be from the 3 countries I've just told to you. So the next thing is go to, if the news is for the US dollar. So if the news is for the US dollar, go to your charts. You can trade gold. You can trade Euro USD. So for this case, let's try Euro USD. Time frame, always use 15 or 5 minutes time frame. Come to the chart 15 minutes or 10 minutes before news is actually being released. Set your 2 orders. So what we're going to do, we're going to set 2 orders. That's why I actually told you shouldn't be worried of which direction the market is going to go, because we're going to put a sell order down, that as pending order down. As the market comes, it finds us. That is if it's to take a downward direction movement. So I also put a buy order upwards. That is if the market is to go upwards. That's why I said focus on mainly the deviation, and also if the news is a major fundamental, from the 3 countries I've just given to you. The other countries, it is okay. You can trade them, provided the news is major fundamental, but do not be expectant of bigger displacement and also expect confusion in the market. So what we do, we put a buy order down and we put a sell order down. You may put a take profit or you may not put a take profit. You maintain the difference of 11 pips from here for both orders up and down, and then you wait as per the market coming down. So what we do, we go up, we put a buy order, right? In simpler term, we shouldn't be specific of which direction the market is going. Okay, I've made 10, but they should be 11, which is okay. Then I also come down. I do the same. Always if you put a take profit, make sure it is very long, because the market has a potential to push the market wherever it wants. Okay, so what you do, you also bring this one, because you have to maintain this. You have to leave a gap here of 11 pips, 11 pips. Usually, the market will first play around here before it decides. So if it's to go down, most of the time, if it's to go up, most of the times it first pulls in the opposite direction, then decides and pushes up again. So it will find your order. So when it executes this one, make sure you close this one. So if it's to come down, most of the times it first goes up, but because of the difference of 11 pips, it will not execute your order up, and then you eventually come back down and you push as further as possible. So what you always have to do here, or what you always have to mind about here, is risk management. Risk management is key. Don't put a pending order without a stop loss. Give it a stop loss and then trade and maintain the distance. Once one order is executed, please close it and then focus on it. You may give it a take profit, you may not give it a take profit, and wait for the market after something like 10, 15 minutes. You can close the chart, or you can close your trade and then consider that as a profit. Otherwise, that is the simplest way of how you can trade news. I've been detailed, but again, precise, because I didn't want to make this video a bit longer. Otherwise, in any case, you need, or you have an interest in having mentorship, classes, consultancy, advisory on investment and in trading, and provided anything that you want that has to do with trading, having classes, having mentorship, panel beating, you want specific areas to tackle, provided it's about trading, please don't hesitate. Use those contacts. Reach out to us. We'll always get back to you and will be of good help to you. Otherwise, have a lovely day. Enjoy. Bye-bye. Thank you.